In 1933, a Chinese labourer made a discovery so strange he hid it at the bottom of a well for 85 years. A colossal skull with brow ridges, like armour, and a brain size that matches our own. Now scientists reveal this dragon man belonged to a lineage both more powerful and more elusive than Neanderthals, threatening to reshape everything we thought about our place in the human family. But why was it hidden? And what kind of creature did we almost share this earth with? On the banks of the Songhua River in 1933, a labourer stood knee-deep in mud, hauling sediment for the new Dongjiang Bridge. Under the shadow of Japanese occupation, every find was watched, every action monitored. When his shovel struck something heavy and unyielding, he brushed away the silt to reveal a skull unlike any he had ever seen. It was massive, with brow ridges like stone ledges and a jaw that seemed built for another age. News of such a discovery would not bring reward. In Manchukuo, treasures vanished into the hands of foreign authorities, never to return. The labourer made a choice. Instead of turning the skull over to officials, he wrapped it in cloth and carried it through the city's back alleys. He waited until dark, then lowered it into an abandoned well, covering it with broken boards and debris. The secret became a burden, passed down not through documents, but in whispers. For decades, the skull remained hidden as regimes changed and wars swept the region. The family guarded the knowledge in silence. Only in 2018, as the labourer's grandson sat by his grandfather's bedside, did the truth finally surface. The old man's voice was frail but urgent, recounting the hiding place and the reason he had risked everything to keep it safe. Guided by this final confession, the grandson retrieved the skull from the darkness where it had waited for 85 years and delivered it into the hands of paleontologist Ji Qiang at Hebei GEO University. The fossil's journey from mud to secrecy to science had finally begun. The first encounter with the skull in the laboratory is almost unsettling. Dense, sediment-coated bone gives way beneath the brush, revealing a cranium stretching nearly 22 centimeters from brow to rear, longer and broader than any modern human, dwarfing even the largest Neanderthal finds. The vault sits low and elongated, the surface still bearing the gritty memory of riverbed burial. Square orbits stare blankly, bordered above by a continuous brow ridge as thick as a carpenter's thumb, unbroken across the forehead. The nasal opening is wide, the cheekbones set forward, and the jaw, though missing, would have anchored teeth suited for tearing through sinew or root. One detail stands out above all: the immense brain case. Measurements confirm a cranial capacity of 1,420 milliliters, comfortably within the upper range for Homo sapiens, and a match for the most intelligent of our own kind. The bone itself feels cold and heavy, a relic shaped for survival in a world of ice and predators' eyes. Each ridge and curve suggests power, muscle attachments for a face built to withstand bitter winds, and perhaps the force of close combat. Under the harsh glare of lab lights, the skull's proportions challenge easy classification. It is both familiar and alien, a puzzle that demands answers. The sheer scale and preservation leave no doubt this specimen is worth every scientific tool available. Only precise dating and molecular analysis can reveal what kind of human once wore this formidable crown. Inside the laboratory, the question of age takes center stage. Teams from the Chinese Academy of Sciences and Hebei GEO University begin a campaign to anchor the skull in time, drawing on every available method. They scrape sediment from the skull's crevices and sample the mineral crust clinging to its surface. Uranium series dating comes first, measuring the decay of radioactive isotopes locked in the bone. The results point to an age far beyond any known modern human, but the numbers are only the beginning. X-ray fluorescence scans track the diffusion of rare earth elements, matching chemical fingerprints with fossils from the same riverbank. Strontium isotope analysis follows, tying the skull's origin to the Upper Huangshan Formation, which consists of sediments laid down between 309,000 and 138,000 years ago. Each method carries its own margin of error, but the combined evidence draws a clear boundary. The skull is at least 146,000 years old. This lower limit stands firm, even as the upper range stretches further back into the Pleistocene. The confidence band is wide but not uncertain. The fossil's age now sits firmly within the Middle Pleistocene, a period marked by dramatic climate swings and the rise of multiple human lineages. With the clock fixed, the specimen's place in the ancient world is no longer in doubt. The announcement in 2021 sent shockwaves through the world of paleoanthropology. The Harbin skull, with its immense brow ridges and elongated brain case, was named Homo longi, proposed as a new species and, more provocatively, as a sister lineage to modern humans. Anatomical comparisons mapped its features alongside the Dali and Jinyushan fossils, forming a cluster that seemed to sit closer to Homo sapiens than Neanderthals ever had. The flat face tucked beneath a heavy brow, the wide nasal aperture, and the sheer cranial volume all fueled arguments for a dramatic redrawing of the human family tree. Yet even as headlines claimed a new closest relative, a different kind of investigation was underway. Teams specializing in ancient proteins and mitochondrial DNA began to probe the skull's secrets at the molecular level. Scraping dental plaque and extracting proteins from the dense bone, they found signatures that matched not a new species, but the Denisovans, an elusive group known mostly from a finger bone and a few teeth in Siberia. Proteomic markers and mitochondrial DNA sequences aligned the Harbin skull with these ancient hominins, not with a unique branch nearer to us than Neanderthals. The debate grew sharper. Morphologists pointed to the skull's unique blend of traits, robust yet modern, Asian yet global. Molecular biologists countered with direct genetic evidence, insisting that molecules do not lie. Chris Stringer of London's Natural History Museum acknowledged the skull's singular morphology, but cautioned against hasty labels, suggesting the fossil might best be seen as a Denisovan with Asian roots, or perhaps as Homo daliensis. The question of identity remains unsettled, leaving the taxonomy open and the stakes for understanding human adaptation in the Pleistocene higher than ever. During the coldest stretches of the Pleistocene, northeastern Asia was a land of biting winds and endless permafrost. In this environment, survival demanded more than intelligence. It required bodies built for endurance. The Harbin skull reveals a hominin adapted for these extremes. Its broad nasal aperture hints at a wide nose, an anatomical feature that would have warmed frigid air before it reached the lungs. The cranium itself, stretching nearly 22 centimeters, suggests a large, robust body, just as Bergman's rule predicts for mammals in icy climates. Heavy brow ridges and thick bone provided anchor points for powerful facial muscles, likely shielding the face from cold and injury. With a brain volume of 1,420 milliliters, this lineage matched modern humans in cognitive potential, while carrying a frame that could conserve heat in sub-zero winters. For at least 100,000 years, these cold-adapted titans occupied the river valleys and steppe, not as fleeting visitors, but as dominant competitors, perfectly suited to the unforgiving tundra that shaped their world. Across the frozen plains of ancient Asia, the fate of these powerful humans remains a riddle. No tool marks or hearths at Harbin tell of neighbours or rivals. Archaeology offers only silence, where stories of conquest or survival might be found. Yet the paradox deepens with every genetic study. Denisovans, once thought lost, left a trace that lingers in the living. Up to 6% of the DNA in some modern Asian and Oceanian populations carries the imprint of these vanished people. Their legacy is not carved in bone but woven into the double helix, a hidden thread running through our own bodies. Climate may have shifted, resources may have thinned, or perhaps the arrival of Homo sapiens brought competition that could not be seen, only felt in dwindling numbers. The evidence points to more than extinction. It hints at blending, at lineages braided together and then torn apart. The question remains suspended. If the Dragon Man's strength and intellect matched our own, why did their story end here, except as a whisper in our blood? Today, fragments of Denisovan DNA still shape our immune systems and appearance. As ancient genomes resurface, the boundaries of our own identity blur. The human story is not finished. It is still rewriting itself in our cells. What does it mean when the ghosts in our blood refuse to stay buried?